Hey guys, Monk52 here of course, and today we're covering the Georgia. So let's dive right in and take a look at modules here. Secondary battery mod is what I'd recommend. You could go A guns mod too. Wouldn't recommend main battery mod, you like a faster reload, but secondaries are improved accuracy. There are not many of them, but hey, you might as well use it. Bullshit mod really does help out, gets you going places. Concealment mod is the way to go, I just can't afford it. I have the money right now, but I've got other stuff to buy and so forth. I recommend putting on Concealment mod. You don't even need it, it's that strong a bow in my opinion, but hey, whatever. Artillery plotting room is the way to go. You could go main barrier mod, but I think artillery plotting is just so much nicer. The dispersion this thing gets is bonkersly good. So yeah, use artillery plotting. Please don't short out. You can fire often, or you can fire and get all results. 65k health, pretty decent health pool, not amazing, but hey, there we go. You've got 18-inch guns, not 18.1, which means you could overmatch 30mm of armor. You've got a really high alpha for the AP. If we compare this to the likes of Yamato, which of course has 18.1-inch guns, and there's obviously a legendary tier in tier 8, it's 16. This thing just jumps well above its weight into 17,000. You only have 6 guns, but it really it's pretty bonkers. You can also knock this reload down with commander builds to like 22 seconds, which is bonkers. Also 29 knots with drill bits on here, by the way. You also get speed boost, which puts you contention in the runnings for fastest BB in the game. But obviously the French will probably win it in that, but Georgia is no slouch when it comes to speed. If you're looking at concealment as well, it's pretty darn good in terms of concealment. Obviously, considering you have 18-inch guns, not 18.1, it's really important. That point 1 is really important. You've also got improved healing. You've got a 20-second duration over 40-second duration over the standard 80-second duration, as you can see here. So you've got improved healing, you've got improved secondary accuracy, you've got 18-inch guns that can, if you build it, have a 22-second reload, if not 26 or 24, and yeah, you also got a speed boost as well, so you can get the hell out of dodge if you want to as well. So yeah, pretty strong. Let's take a look at the armor scheme. Really good thing about the Georgia, it's a really thin bow, so you're actually going to miss a lot more shots than you probably should. You've got a decent armor belt on the side. Superstructure is large, but hey, they got to damage you somehow. And you've got some special plating in your bow and stern. If we take that off here, we'll look at this the rest of the armor here real quick. Take it off here, you've got some red parts of the armor here. Difficult to see really with the armor scheme, armor viewer we have, but just basically there's internal plating in the bow itself. The citadel itself is really low, below the waterline. Plunging fire will be quite weak for it. Yeah, you'll get citadel quite easily from plunging fire, but you do actually have a spaced armor scheme here, which is kind of nasty to deal with, not gonna lie. And obviously, your deck armor, it looks quite thin, even though it's not. It's a weird one. As you can see, that spaced armor is nasty. There we go. Take a look at the deck armor here. It's layered, so your carriers will have somewhat a hard time citadeling you. They'll still do it, but they'll just have a slightly harder time. But overall, it's a pretty nasty bow. You don't want to get broadside, of course. You're going to get smacked. But angled, you shouldn't take too much damage. Just obviously the superstructure will do some damage to you, but you're obviously got a 38mm deck, which will bench all the HE, but really that doesn't really get a difference because of that superstructure. But you're quite a thin bow. You've got a thin profile, which means you can mitigate a fair amount of shells. Standard American armor scheme, honestly. You can see, whereas Massachusetts is quite thicker. Montana's even thicker, of course, and Iowa's even a bit more as well. And the Georgia's a really thin hull, which is in terms of profile, which is quite good. It's even thicker. The keys is a prime example as well. Is also thicker. William Sims recommended commander choice. You can run for Thalmo Cannoneer. I actually recommend drill bits, which is odd because I usually land crisscross here, but the extra 10% damage is so nice. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. It's such a strong drill bits, honestly, and I actually recommend it, even though you can suffer the speed loss, it's not a big deal. So it really is take your pick, but I do recommend running drill bits in this. Marksmanship here and then reaching out, or you could go properly meticulous because you do have the imprint secondaries. Also Walter build is pretty much the strongest here. You could go fire, but I'd probably recommend Walter build. Inspirations, Cunningham, I recommend that, yep. And Scharnhorst, if you don't have Scharnhorst, you could run Paolo di Revel or the new commander Iachino. So both are very good options. For Paolo di Revel, you get like a 24-second reload, which is insane considering you've not even spec'd into reload. I've gone for artillery plotting room, and you've got 18-inch guns that hit so hard and they're very accurate as well. If you're using a brawler focus commander like Optimus here, you can get a 22-second reload. And you could realistically run it as a brawler without too much problems as well. It's pretty good as a brawler as well. You could just use a standard setup with Paolo and Cunningham, but even for your brawlers, or just more secondary range. It's not really the best secondary boat in the game, no, but I recommend building for its guns because it's really, really good at it. So guys, yeah, this is the game here. I am division with some really good players, and let that be known. The team gets, I think the team gets absolutely rolled off for this game, but it's a little bit of just how strong this boat is, in my opinion. Really, really strong. You give Georgia a tad more health, you bump it right up to tier 8, not a problem. Because this thing punches well above its weight. The guns are just insane. 18-inch American AP just punches right through wherever you want it to punch through. It's fast as hell. It has a fast healing, so if you give it more, if you give it a brawler focus thing, you get a mass mechanic, get 2 more heals in that, you are not going to die very easily at all. And the guns, they just hit so hard. So there's the accuracy playing here, guys. We're running Scharnhorst, we're running full accuracy build here. Again, you may not be able to get that because of the AL Scharnhorst, but yeah, as you can see, oh my god, 45k, first salvo, we've landed 5 out of 6 shells. This thing is bonkers, man. I can't stress how bonkers this boat is. It really is a really good boat. So basically, don't get broadside, angle as much as you can, keep shooting, keep moving, and yeah, you'll do really well, I think, honestly. The guns are so accurate. If you don't have artillery plotting room, I want to recommend it 100%. That's just a 2-shot of a battleship. I believe we just sunk a cruiser, but we didn't actually. It was a Nagato, and that's 63k off the bat, just off the bat, you know. It's kind of bonkers. It just is, you know. Yeah. You may think, you know, well, you're a good player, but you can see the power of this boat. We'll put it more later on, because what you can do in this boat, you've got such versatility. Because when you're fast and you've got big firepower, you can do a lot. Like, for example, I feel comfortable getting penetrations on that bow on Brandenburg because of the penetration of these guns. And something to note as well about 18-inch guns. And you may think, oh, they're not Yamato guns, so they can't overmatch 32. What good are they? No. The 18-inch guns, and 17-inch guns as well, because Republic's in the game, can overmatch 30mm of armor. And you may not think 30mm of armor is a good threshold, you know, but it really is. It's actually the turtleback plating armor of the Hipper. It's the angled belt armor of the Amalfi. There's other values again. The Bow of Edinburgh is 30mm. There's actually a lot of internal plating that cruisers have, and even as some battleships have, that is 30mm. By the way, the Georgia is also quite maneuverable as well, particularly with the speed boost. It actually increases your reaction, increases your ship's reaction into speed. Like, you can increase your acceleration, even your deceleration at certain times with your speed boost. I'm not sure about the deceleration, but it does improve your reaction and your mobility. And you can see the damage this thing does just with pens is insane. And this Hezen Yang here, now, we knew he was roughly about there because we're kind of pushing quite aggressively, but it's okay. Hezen Yang, again, deep water torpedoes, really stealthy torpedoes, could really do some damage to us, but we're such a thin ship, even if he sends his entire salvo, it's pretty unlikely to dev strike us unless we get point blank range. King George, very hard to citadel, basically underwater citadel. You should look at the armor scheme if you don't believe me, it's actually bonkers, but hey, we're doing what we can here. We're just going to straight up rush this Hezen Yang because we have the speed. And as I was saying, sorry, I was trying to go back on to be just one torp because again, the thin area of the Georgia. You have 30mm overmatch, which means you overmatch the citadel armor of a lot of cruisers and a lot of armor belts, and really is quite special. If you look into the armor scheme, you just pay attention, look at a couple of cruisers, and you'll see a lot of armor is 30mm, which means you'll be actually dev striking cruisers and getting a lot more citadels than a lot of other boats. Considering it's weird though, because it's really powerful. That is, the overmatch 30mm overmatch is really strong against cruisers, and you may not think it's be the case because you've got bigger guns, so you've got a higher chance of overpenning, but you may think that's the case, but you've also the penetration just gives you the chance to get them citadels in and just really punishes. Now we're just spotting this Hezen Yang. Fortunately, we have a division mate in the Lightning who can also just sonar, which is also nice, good, but again, he actually gets detonated by our Zima. Pretty disgusting, and unfortunately by that. But yeah, we've just pushed very aggressively. King George is down by alternative means. We've 2-shot the Nagato. We helped out by chunking the living crap out of Did we hit the Hezen Yang? I think we did. I'm not even sure now. Anyway, 114k in less than 5 minutes, And as you can see, I'm just picking the numbers here. More torpedoes coming in, mostly just hitting the island there because again, we've picked a good spot here. What can damage us? Really, like, realistically, not much. The only thing it could damage us is that Kutuzov. Maybe the battleship over there, but there's too much out of the cover for him to probably shoot over. Our biggest main concern is actually the Kagero to basically our bow on. You know, we can pretty much comfortably assume that this Kutuzov is not long for this world. And again, if we land a couple hits, even a couple pains, it's just kind of disgusting. Oh, we do. He does get torped by our lightning here. Now we know our lightning's running sonar, but we are happy to get broadside to this Kutuzov. Sorry, Kagero here. But if we're not, I would just straight up turn full right hand here, and we're going so fast. We're going 25 plus knots here that you wouldn't be able to torp us. Just wouldn't be able to do it if we just did a full right turn here. But I know that we have torpedoes here. And he know that my division mate is running sonar, so I can just dart through this and IM speed, literally IM speed. We didn't even need to alter our course here. If we just did this course anyway, even if we didn't know there's a destroyer there, we just simply outrun it because we're going 30 plus knots. We've got our speed boost active, and yeah, Georgia goes burr. So your speed boost is really good for getting out of situations like that, especially for dodging torps. Actually, it's really quite good at that. 4 hits for 7,000 damage with the Kagero. The AP is quite insane. You're hitting harder than a Yamato does, so you need to be aware of that. You're only a tier 7 boat, and you've got some really good firepower. Doesn't matter what you have, you definitely want to fire them destroyers if you can. Earlier we tried to get a shot, but by the time the turn is turned, it'd probably go dark. That's when I kind of ignored it there. And as you can see, we're already up to 127. We picked up the high cal, and we've got 8 minutes left of the game, is it? Is that 4 minutes? I think that's 8 minutes. Yeah, that's 8 minutes in. So, like, I can re-go over this if you want, and I'm going over it real quickly because this is still a guide at the end of the day. So, you know, we pushed aggressively to get rid of the Nagato first off. That was a good play. We have division mates here who could help us out with the destroyers. There's only 3 destroyers in this game here. May not seem like much, but hey, it's good to do that. If you're pushing bow on, you're presenting a quite small target. You're constantly moving, you're using your speed to your advantage because the faster you are, the more you can capitalize on mistakes. And catch people's broadsides without them noticing it because you're so fast and you've got such big caliber guns, so you've got such high influence in the battle here. We're just darting forward towards the ACAP faster than our lightning is because, you know, we're just fast that way. Upper spotter plane here gets some really meaty damage on the side plan potentially here. We could dev strike him with this, but we do get a little bit unlucky. We actually get a bounce and 2 for pens, but we do get 1 pen, which is already plenty damage. And that's already bumped us up to 136. Fire another salvo here, another 2 pains, but hey, we hit harder than a Yamato does in terms of the actual per shell. Obviously Yamato has 3 more guns, but just be aware of that. Again, Suzuya and all cruisers you may think can be overpinning a lot more with the Georgia, but you aim for the Citadels, my goodness, you can get smackerage like that. Saipan's going to murder us here, but you see how much health we had? Being very aggressive and very nasty to the team. We just pushed them as much as we could, and that's pretty much all she wrote here. I'd like to do more turning, honestly, and there's other stuff I'd like to do here to try and avoid the carrier strikes, but it's a carrier, you really can't do much. He did break her engine, and I can't really burn the damage control because I don't want to get burned to death by the Suzuya, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, we do get flooded there, so we need to burn the damage control because flooding lasts forever. 167k, we fire again at Suzy. We get 1 pen for 6k. It's just casual, you know. And yeah, it's a pretty brutal boat. And you can see the Suzy does a fairly decent job at dodging a lot of our salvos. Not our first salvo, which could even death strike the man. But hey, we're doing what we can. Yeah, he's got some sort of agility build on, definitely. And he's just running. He's the last remaining. I believe it actually does send us a GG at the end of this match. But I'm not a fan of what he does. I get why he's doing it. I'm just not a fan of it. But hey, you know, I can't dictate how everyone should play. You play how you want to play. That's at the end of the day. He's a speed boost here, just goes the distance a little bit, and we're just going to charge him here. We don't really care about dying because we can't take our Georgia with us next match. It will respawn back at full health, and this is what I don't like about it. I don't like hugging the white line here. Just straight up go for it. You know, you've got 900 points. It really doesn't matter, so just fight for it. But hey, at the same time, you know, I don't blame his idea. Just get this kill going and get going. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die to this torpedo here. But at the same time, I could turn into this and probably dodge it maybe, but at the same time I'm just like, I just want to get this kill and be done with this game because it's already 947 points. It really doesn't matter. We fire our last rear gun of justice. We do eat the torpedo on the butt, but that rear gun of justice, it just blaps them. There we go. Those two shells merged and became one inside the ship. And that's pretty much all she wrote with Georgia, guys. I might cover it more in the future, but it's a really strong boat, guys. I can't stress this enough. You want to keep yourself moving, capitalize on your speed and your gun caliber. You can really punish things when you catch them broadside, and you can punish the cruisers which when you get to just get a couple decent hits on them, guys. Yeah. So yeah, sorry a bit long more of an explanation than usual, but hey, hope this helps you guys out. Have a lovely day, guys, and I'll catch you on the flip side.